All right, everyone. So today I wanted to talk about one of the advanced quests that I've encountered that has been very pesky. It feels like it's a trap. I think that Plarium is counting on people to do this one incorrectly and waste materials. And I wanted to share with you guys what to do and how to do this correctly if you come across this advanced quest. And maybe I've gotten unlucky because I've gotten this one several times, but let me show you which one it is. And a lot of these advanced quests are really not that bad. You're just doing things that you normally do every day anyway, like using your clan boss keys, placing debuffs, that sort of stuff, using crypt keys in Faction Wars. But this one right here at the bottom, craft one epic or legendary artifact at the Forge. This one has been really frustrating because it relies on RNG, because when you end up crafting at the Forge, most of the time you are not going to get an epic or a legendary. You can see here the odds without using charms: 67.5% chance of getting a rare, which is 2 out of 3. So 2/3 of the items that you craft without any charms are going to be rares, and they're not going to end up completing that advanced quest. Then a quarter of the time, 25% epic, and 7.5%, which is about 1 in 12, 1 in 13, is going to be a legendary. Now, what player might be counting on you doing with this advanced quest here is, because you end up having to craft an epic or legendary and a rare is not going to get that done, they might want you to end up using these charms here, these rarity charms that are going to double the chances of giving you a higher rarity. And if you take a look, you'll see that using one of these charms now, instead of a 25% chance of an epic and a 7.5% chance of a legendary, you'll have a 50% chance of an epic and a 15% chance of a legendary. So instead of 2/3 of the time crafting will not complete that daily task, now only 1/3 of the time it's not going to complete the daily task. So if you use a charm and you craft and you still get a rare and don't complete that advanced quest, that's pretty darn unlucky. But I'll tell you guys, you do not want to do that. That is bait. That is Plarium bait right there. You don't want to waste your charms just going for the daily. They are way, way more valuable for other stuff. And I'll tell you guys really the right approach to make sure that you get this daily done. And I'm sure I'll have other videos out in the future where I talk about the charms and the crafting much more in depth, really breaking down exactly what charms and what ingredients you want to use. But, basically, unless you're crafting the best items with the most limited materials, you really want to be careful using these yellow and purple charms because they are the rare ones. They are much more difficult to get than the type charms and the substat charms, and obviously the type and substat charms have no impact on your ability to end up completing this advanced quest right there. So what you want to do is, first of all, take a look at the amount of materials that you have. I mean, obviously, if you have not gone through Faction Wars and used your keys yet, make sure that you do that. Whatever difficulty you can end up doing, that's totally fine. Also, make sure that, if you've got this right here, extra keys, you use those as well. Kind of gather up the amount of crafting materials that you can for the day, because once you've used your Faction Wars keys, that's going to be it. Now, first of all, what you want to do is, just to end up getting the daily done, you want to take a look at the 3 through 4 star and see how many rares you have. You don't want to craft it right away. You just want to see how many of them you have. Then you want to look at the 4 through 5 star, and you want to see how many epics you have. And you want to look at the 5 through 6 star and see how many legendaries you have. And this is really important. You don't want to just go blasting away like I did. I made this really big mistake, and I used rare materials, crafting stuff that I shouldn't have, because now, unfortunately, I don't have rare materials to craft the better stuff. So before blasting away, you want to just double check here. And what you want to do is you want to take a look here, because the legendary materials can only be used for the best craft, which is 5 through 6 star. So you need 5 legendaries for the 5 through 6 star. So you want to make sure that at the very minimum, you have twice as many epics saved for this. And that's going to give you the crafting materials that you need to get all of your good crafts done. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you've wasted materials on the bad crafts and then you don't have the materials for the good crafts, and you've done that all just to try to go for the daily here. Like, worst case scenario, it's just going to be better for you to end up skipping out on this daily rather than to blast away using your good materials. So it's not that big of a deal. There's going to be some days where you just kind of have to chalk it up as a loss. Now, in terms of these Magisteals, you don't really have to worry about those. Those are going to come from classic arenas, and the perception and resiliences don't really use a lot of these. You shouldn't really have a problem. This is not going to be your limiting material. So going back here, so if I have 20 of these right here, I want to make sure that I have, at the very minimum, 40 of these epics saved for the 5 through 6 star. Then what I want to do is I want to take a look at the rest of my epics. So I'm using 40 of them for the 5 through 6 star, so I have 140 of them left. And then I want to save you know, twice as many rares as I have epics for the 4 through 5 star. So that means I'm going to want 280 rares for the 4 through 5 stars. And then anything extra that I have on top of that, that's what I can use to craft the 3 through 4 star, whether I want to do it for the daily, whether I want to do it to just sell the stuff for the silver. You really always want to work from the top down when it comes to crafting, because this is going to be the good stuff that you're going to actually use, whereas the 3 through 4 things, you're not going to use that. It's just going to be stuff that you probably vendor or just try to do for the daily. So don't make my mistake where I got angry that it took me something like 11 crafts just to get a single you know, epic in order to complete this. Don't do it with the 3 through 4 stars. You still want to go with the higher star ones, and you do not want to use charms. This is the other thing that I say. Use rank up and rarity charms. You don't want to use these on your resilience and your perception sets, even though it makes the daily scene easier to complete. That's the bait that Plarium wants you to take right there. You still want to craft the higher stars, the 5 through 6 star, but you want to make sure to save your yellow and your purple charms for swift parry and deflection sets, because these are much, much more difficult to craft, and you guys will realize that this is the case as time goes on. These core hammers only come from events and tournaments. We're not going to be given a whole lot of them, whereas the stuff for the resilience and the perception sets, you can end up getting all of this from Faction Wars. You can get these from Classic Arena. This is stuff that we know regenerates every single day, so these materials are going to be a lot more accessible. So you always want to make sure to save your charms for the more limited, more difficult to craft items, and not use them on the more accessible items. So don't fall into that bait. Make sure that you guys craft this carefully, and if you somehow don't end up having the materials, or you have to do it the not so good way like I did, just to try to get the daily done, just skip it. It's not worth it. I understand it might be a little bit upsetting that you won't, you know, stay at even 30 out of 50, 40 out of 50, whatever. You're going to end up missing out on, you know, the refill, unfortunately, and the gems or whatever, but it's just not worth wasting really good charms crafting bad items just to get the daily done. At that point, it's going to be much better spent on actual good gear. So I wanted to just get this out there so that you guys don't make the same mistake that I did, and that's going to be about it for the video for today. So if you guys enjoyed and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to toss a quick like as well. It really does mean more than you can imagine, so thank you so much to all of you guys who decide to do that. And more Raid Shadow Legends videos should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to your right or below. Over 350 guides, tutorials, and other fun videos on the channel just like this, so feel free to check them out. But if not, have a fantastic day, everyone. Take care. And this Assault of the Salty Guild, signing out.